Hey folks, Piano Man Steve Lungrin here, founder of the Piano Man Approach online piano courses over at pianomanapproach.com. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to be doing a song tutorial masterclass on The Beautiful and Haunting I Am I Said by Neil Diamond. This is a request that came in from one of my viewers. We're going to use my 5-step song learning formula to figure out how we can put this one together on piano. And just to give you an idea, this is the sort of thing that we are going to work our way toward. LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Palm trees grow and rents are low, but you know, I keep thinking about making my way back. I'm New York City born and raised. Nowadays I'm lost between two shores, and LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York's home, but it ain't mine no more. And I am, I said, to no one there. And no one heard at all, not even the chair. And I am, I cry. I am, said I. And I am lost, and I can't even say why. Leaving me lonely still. And then, of course, it just kind of repeats something like that, but that's what we will be shooting for in this video. So, if you enjoy free content like this, I sure would appreciate it if you'd give it a like and a subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notifications. And most importantly, leave comments. Let me know what you think. Do you have any questions? What would you like to hear in the future? And share this with anyone who you think might enjoy it or benefit from it. Okay, this is a communal effort. This isn't just always a do it by yourself. So let's get started. Let me change the screen here. Now that we kind of know what we're going to be working toward, we're going to be working with a formula I developed that I call the GLIDE formula. And it's an acronym, GLIDE, helps you glide right through learning just about any song that you want. And it starts with G, get the chords. Now, in this particular case, I put the lyrics and the chords down in the video description, so you can check them there. But you can also find them on any number of different apps. Hal Leonard might have them. I use Ultimate Guitar Tabs quite a bit. Many other applications now have them. So you got to go somewhere and find the chords. It was recorded in the key of B flat major. Okay. Then the second letter in glide is L, G-L. Listen to the song. So you got to take a listen to that recording because you want it fresh in your mind. How does this sound? What are we trying to recreate? What are we trying to approximate in this? So you want to listen to the song. And then I in glide stands for identify the feel. When I say feel, I mean rhythm pattern, because what I discovered a long time ago, this just gives you an idea of how we're going to use my method, is acoustic guitar players a long time ago, I noticed, didn't have to be masters at their instrument to be able to recreate music. They just knew 10 or 12 chords. They knew like most of their major chords, most of their minor chords on the neck that they could form with pretty simple chord formations in their left hand. And then they had strumming patterns that they used. Okay, and the strumming pattern that they used was enough when you put it with the right chords to recreate the rhythmic essence of that song. And then they had the harmonic essence of it by playing the right chords. And I thought, isn't there a way to do this on piano? Because it felt to me like you couldn't do anything on piano unless you became kind of a virtuoso. Because that's what it takes to if you're stuck with reading notes on a staff. You really have to get good at that if you want to do anything satisfying. And then even if you are good, you're really, really stuck with where the arranger of that, where they put it. So it could be that the arrangement's kind of too easy for your skill level and it's boring. Could be that it's too hard for your skill level and it's frustrating because you just can't quite stretch yourself that far. And with this method, what I noticed was you could be kind of a beginner, or you could be an intermediate, or you could be a very sophisticated player. There was a point of entry, and this same method overall could kind of give you the basis to do anything that you want. And so what I'm going to do is show you a point of entry for beginners, and then show you ways to modify and enhance the beginner version based on your place, on your skill set, because I'm at this point a fairly sophisticated player, so I do sophisticated things, but it's still based on these beginner tactics. So that's what my method's all about, and that's kind of how it works. I just wanted you to understand where we came up with this technique. So feel means rhythm pattern, okay? What rhythm pattern are we going to plug the chords into? And I'm delighted to see how many other piano teachers on YouTube are using the phrase rhythm pattern after all these years. I started saying it. I was the first person to start saying that 14 years ago, and now lots of other folks are using that. So I started a trend, and I'm very proud of it. So we have 4 essential feels that I teach. The first one is called the basic feel. So what we do is we just run the chord progression through the rhythm pattern feels to see which one kind of feels right for the song. So the first feel we call the basic feel, and it's just quarter notes in the left hand. So just for the sake of demonstration, let's try it. You do this, and then you play on counts 1, 2, and 4 in the right hand on the chord. So on this B flat chord, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we kind of see how this sounds. A little choppy, but LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time. E flat, and the feeling is laid back. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Palm trees grow and the rents are low, but I keep thinking about way too choppy. That's not going to be the right one. So then we move on. We have a country feel. The country feel is where you play the root of the chord, and then you follow it up with the 5 of the chord. So that means in B flat, you play the B flat scale. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're alternating between 1 and 5. And then we are playing the chord in between. So chuck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you might think of it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. It's entirely up to you. So let's see how that sounds. LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time. And the feeling is laid back. No, I don't think that's probably right. Be an interesting way to arrange the song if we wanted to, though, right? So that's probably not going to be right. Then we have a waltz feel, which is based on 3 beats per measure. So we can rule that out without even trying it, because this has clearly got either 2 beats or 4 beats per measure. Well, in 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we know it's not the waltz feel. So that leaves us one last feel, which I call the syncopated or the heartbeat feel. The reason we call it that is that it has some syncopation. It comes down on some off beats, not just on down beats, meaning not just 1, 2, 3, 4. It comes down on some 1 and 2, 3, 4s. And it also sounds like a heartbeat. Thump, 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 thump. Okay? So let's start our tempo here. 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? Now, just for lack of anything better to do with the right hand, because we have a lot of freedom to work with in the right hand later for enhancements, but let's just play quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try this out. LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Palm trees grow, the rents are low, but you know I keep thinking about making my way back. Okay, this is why I call them the 4 essential feels. 90% of music can be captured pretty well by these 4, and that one is clearly the right one. That's clearly the winner. I am myself to no one there, right? And no one heard at all, not even the chair. Okay. And what I love about this rhythm pattern style of play is that if you have mastered the hand coordination to be able to play that rhythm pattern, that syncopated rhythm pattern, right? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. And you can just play 1, 2, 3, 4 over the top of it like that. Then if you already know how to do that, then it doesn't really matter what chord progression comes your way. Because if you know how to voice your major and minor chords on piano, whatever the progression is, you can play it. Same is true if you've mastered the country feel, if you've mastered the waltz feel, if you've mastered the basic feel, those are ready to go for you. So you shorten the learning curve of having something credible you can do right out of the gate. So suddenly you can play a decent sounding version of this song almost in the time that it takes to just read the chords, right? That's one thing that I love about it. So your entry level is just to be able to play the chords in that rhythm pattern, and that takes us to the next step in the glide formula, which is D, drill it down. And when you're drilling it down, essentially what it means is you want to play this with no frills. You want to get it under your fingers. You want to get the chord progression under your fingers. Because the last step is E, which is enhance with signatures and simple improv. And you want your brain power going to the enhancements, not to simple things like, okay, what chord am I moving to? And you want it to be on automatic pilot to just hold that rhythm pattern in place and move through the chord progression. So you just run through it a few times. So it's B flat, E flat, F, back to B flat. Okay, now, some of you are like, okay, I know my chords pretty well. I mean, at least my major and minors, and so this makes sense. Some of you are like, I don't know chords, man. Okay, well, They're not that hard to learn, and we're not going to go through and teach all of that in this one video. But I hope that there's still some benefit for you in seeing that with learning a few tools like this. If you know your 12 major chords and your 12 minor chords, you're really well set up to play most songs in popular music. And if you know these 4 rhythm patterns, you're set up to do something, okay? So you do not have to master loads and loads and loads of crazy theory and other stuff to be able to start making some pretty compelling noise out of this instrument. So you just kind of run through it. E flat. F. Not a man who likes to swear. I never cared for the sound of being alone. Back to B flat. And I am, I said, there's your B flat. To E flat. To no one there. And no one heard it all. Okay, it's basically only got those 3 chords in it, B flat, E flat, and F, and that's the whole song. Okay, so once you've drilled it down, and I'm not going to take the time to do constant drilling down, but you've got the chord progression and the description along with the lyrics, and we know what that rhythm pattern is. Now we have the fun part. E, enhance it with signatures and simple improv. So I want to show you a number of things that you can do to enhance this song, okay? You can modify all kinds of different stuff. First, you can modify the chords, okay? The chords themselves can be modified, and that means everything from one simple place to start is we're using, what I showed you here was using what we call root inversion. What does that mean? It means that the root of the chord, so on that B flat's on the bottom of the way I'm voicing it with my right hand, right? Well, guess what? The 3 notes that make up that B flat chord, B flat, D, F, like so, if you play them here, that's still a B flat chord. It's called first inversion. If you play it here with the F on the bottom, which is the 5, that's still a B flat chord. It's called second inversion. But see how each one of them has their own sort of sonic flavor? So you're going to change the sound of it up just a little bit, even though you're still playing the same chords, just by perhaps moving around in the inversions of the chords so that your hand doesn't have to go all over the piano. It could be like this. So B flat. LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time. Then it goes to E flat. Well, you could play it here on root inversion, right? But that you're already on a B flat chord, which means your thumb's already on that B flat. That is a note that an E flat chord has in common because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you could play E flat and G here. You could go to second inversion on E flat. LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time. And the feeling is laid back. Then it goes to an F chord. Well, you could go here. So you can move down slightly, like so. That's first inversion F, where you've got, instead of F, A, C, you have A, C, F. Rent's a low, da-da-da. Lately I've been thinking about making my way back, and it works out nice because your pinky's on that F, and that F is part of the B flat chord, so you can just right there. Or you could move from here to here, and this is also an F chord. This is second inversion. The rent's low. Lately I've been thinking about. And And maybe you form the B flat chord here now instead of down here. So your hand has worked its way subtly from here to here just by working through inversions of chords. And then maybe you deliberately jump back down to here because you like that sound, and it changes it back up as you go. Well, I'm New York City born and raised. So that's one thing. Inversions, using the different inversions of chords is one modification you can make on a harmonic level that's really, really handy. Another thing that you can do on the harmonic level is that you can add what we call kind of money notes or sweetener notes, or sugar notes. So one of my absolute favorites is called the added 9. What's that mean? Well, if you were to play the scale on B flat, it goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's C. It's also the 1, 2, okay? But here's why they call it the added 9. If you were to see B flat 9, it would imply that you need to play a 7 and a 9 together. So it could be a B flat major 9, and it would want you to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, major 7 here. Okay, that's a very particular sounding chord, right? Or it could mean that it wants you to play a dominant 9, which is to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and flat that 9. Again, a very, very specific sounding chord. Well, we don't want to do that, but if you just slip the 9 in without that 7 underneath it, then they call it adding the 9 in. Because if it says B flat 2, then that chord, it's actually telling you just to play B flat and C, and that's it. Okay? Well, we want the rest of that chord in there. So the added 9's beautiful, and what it does is it softens a chord while also thickening a chord. So let's hear what this B flat chord sounds like when we put that note in with it. Isn't that nice? I mean, like, ooh, doesn't that give you a little bit of goosebumps, that added 9? And sometimes what I'll do is actually remove the 3 and just play the 1, 2, and 5 together like that. And sometimes I'll play the 3 with it as well. LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time. You could do the same thing with the E flat chord. What's the E flat 9? 1, or the E flat added 9? 1, 2. So it's F, right? We can just say 1, 2. We know it's that, and we play the rest of it. So LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time. And the feeling is laid back. You can do the same thing on that F chord if you want. 1, 2, so it's a G. Da-da-da, rents it low, and then da-da-da. Lately I've been thinking about making my way back. Now, you don't have to put the added 9 into every chord, but it's just something you can add at your discretion to add something a little bit more sonically interesting to the mix. That's called enhancing it. You're the maestro. You get to play this the way you want, right? So, I love those. You can use chord inversions. You can add money notes. You can add sweeteners. Another thing that you can do harmonically is that you can move back and forth between what I call the 1 chord, the 4 chord, back to the 1 chord. When I say the 4 chord, think of it like this. Whatever chord we're on a B flat chord, right? So what's the 4 of B flat? 1, 2, 3, 4. E flat, right? So I can move from a B flat chord to an E flat major chord and then back to a B flat chord. Except we're adding that. It's not necessary. So we're putting that in as an enhancement. So we're not going to change the left hand. We're we're just going to leave the left hand down here on B flat. So what we're doing is creating a little bit of suspension. We're creating a... See how it creates sort of a little bit of dissonance? Because this bass note with this chord and then back. And like it resolves. Have a little tension and then a release. Okay? So it could be like, LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time. So. And the feeling is laid back. There's our added 9. Palm trees grow and rents are low. Lately I've been keeping, so what did I do there? It's on an F chord. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 4 chord of F. Lately I've been thinking about making my way back. Notice there's my F added 9. There's that G. Making my way back. 4 chord, 1 chord. So those are some ideas. You don't have to use every one of them on every chord, but those are some simple ideas of things you can do on the chord side, the harmonic side, enhancements that you can make. Now, you can also make rhythmic enhancements, okay, which means we can manipulate the rhythm pattern a little bit. So with the rhythm pattern, what I want you to think of, because people always ask, so what's, what are you doing here? You just like playing the piano player's part? No, because not every song even has piano in it. Sometimes it's buried in the mix. You wouldn't be able to hear it anyway. But one thing that it always has in common with a recording is even if it's a song that is sort of driven by a piano part, it's a piano part that was designed to be part of a mixture of instruments in an ensemble. That may or may not be a part that's really good for solo piano and vocal, right? So I'm a solo piano player and a vocalist. I need to replicate the band. I need to approximate the band, not the piano player, right? So my left hand's job is to be the drummer and the bass player, okay? So that's establishing the groove and holding the tempo together. That's my left hand's job. My right hand's job is to be the guitars, the keyboards, the strings, the horns, anything. And if you're playing the melody, for example, and I don't do this as often as I sing, but you could certainly use the same method and you could play the melody. So your right hand could be the vocalist too, on top of everything else. But its job is to be those things while your left hand is being the bass guitar player and the drummer. So that's what I want you to think about as we do this. Your left hand has to be very, very solid and sturdy. Your right hand has lots and lots of flexibility about what it can do. So let's think about some ways we can enhance this rhythm pattern. So if we're going to keep the heartbeat going down here, we don't have to play quarter notes. We don't have to play 1, 2, 3, 4. We could soften it a little bit if you wanted to. We could make it more sparse. When you make the right hand more sparse, you make the groove come through a little bit more in the left hand. So for instance, what if I played 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Notice I'm playing some added nines here, so I can do all of my harmonic enhancements while I'm also throwing in rhythmic enhancements. Can you just hear how there's a slightly different flavor to the whole thing if I'm not playing that constant quarter note all the way through? So 1, 2, 4, 4. All we're doing is leaving out count 3, but that sounds so different. It has such a different vibe to it than 1, 2, 3. So sometimes what you can do is that, what if a song, most songs will have a pretty consistent rhythm pattern all the way through the song, and you want to create some differentiation between, say, the verses and the choruses, right? So something like this can be the way that you do it. Maybe you want it to be a little more laid back during the verses and a little more active during the choruses. So it could be like, LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time. Laid back. Palm trees grow and rents are low, but I keep thinking about making my way back. New York City, born and raised. Nowadays I'm lost between two shores. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York's home, but it ain't mine no more. And then I said, now we're on to straight quarter notes, right? Because it makes it more active, so it just changes it up, even though the left hand is continuing on the exact same strain. So the rhythm pattern hasn't changed, but the way we're expressing it with the right hand is a little bit different. I said, to no one there, right? And no one heard it all. There we go. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do, is you can change the expression of the rhythm pattern just a little bit. Now, there are other tools, rhythmic tools, that I really love. One of my absolute favorites is what I call toggling. What is a toggle? Well, that's where you take the chord and you play the top part of the chord with the top part of your hand, and then you toggle to your thumb, like they're on a hinge, back and forth. And it can be a constant toggle. But it can also just be an occasional toggle. See what I'm doing there? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. And you can do this on a 3-note chord like this, or you can spread your hand out and play a full octave like this. And it can still be top part of your hand to the thumb. What I did there, now I went to the 4 chord to the 1 chord, but I threw a toggle in there. So see how we're taking these and we're mixing them together. We've got harmonic modulations and enhancements. We've got rhythmic enhancements, and it's just about assembling a toolkit. like a little bag of tricks or a little toolbox full of interesting little techniques that you can pull out and you can blend them together. You can do different ones at the same time. Every time you master a new tool, it's available to you not just in this song, but in any song that you want to try it in, right? That's what I love about this. Every time you master a new technique, it is like a rising tide that lifts all boats. It's going to make you better at playing every song. And that is how you add levels of sophistication into your playing. And yet, even if all of that is way above your head, right? It's just like, I can't do that right now. That's okay. You have a journey that you can go on that will eventually take you to those places. But if the best that you can do is to master the 4 essential rhythm patterns, right? And all you can do is play the chord, the major or the minor chord, and root position, and just get this down. Well, guess what? You have a pretty darn good version of I Am, I Said if all you can do is go, LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Palm trees grow and rents are low, but you know I keep thinking about making my way back. That's what I love about this method, is that you're making a pretty darn good, compelling version of the song, even at the sort of like the earliest point of entry, the least sophisticated point of entry, right away. And then every tool that you master, every harmonic enhancement that you master, every rhythmic enhancement that you master, right? They're all available for you to use. Not just in this song, but in any song. You take it with you to every song that you play. And that is how you start to build a lot of sophistication. So I like toggles. Another one quickly is arpeggios. It's where you take the notes of the chord and you play them individually rather than as a block together. So, for instance, that could be a great way to fill space. It can also be something to do on the rhythm pattern. It could be like, LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Palm trees grow and the rents are low, but you know I keep thinking about making my way back. See what I did there? There's my 4 chord. I go to the 4 chord and I arpeggiate it up. Then came back to the B flat. New York City born and raised. Nowadays I'm lost between 2 shores. See, now that was just choosing a little bit different rhythm, but it's still an arpeggio. I'm on an E flat chord, right? So I go down here and I say, I'm going to put this added 9 in, which is 1, 2. So it's F, G, B flat, E flat. Just a little arpeggio. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York's home, but it ain't mine no more. What did I do there? I arpeggiated down. I started at the top. I'm on an E flat chord. I decide to play the added 9, right, which is F, F, E flat, B flat, G. And no one heard it all night, even the chair. I am, I cry. I am, said I. So arpeggios, toggles, added 9s, 4 chord back to 1 chord, changing the expression of the rhythm pattern, all of these tools. And I know that's a lot to take in for one song, but I wanted to show you the potential. Some of you, this is going to be like, oh, that's more than I can do right now. That's okay. That's okay. Just work with what you can do right now. But some of you are fairly sophisticated players, and you just never learned how to use this kind of a method to attack your favorite songs. And so you're in a position to like go a long way quickly. And I want you to see the kinds of progress that you can make, how much you can really enhance a song quickly. Then the last piece of this is called signatures. What are signatures? That's when we work out a specific thing that's kind of tied to the song. So I'll give you an example. There's an acoustic guitar part at the beginning of this song that sounds an awful lot like this. Now, I sometimes do not try to copy a signature exactly, particularly if it was done on another instrument. And the reason for that is signatures get done on certain instruments a lot of times because the instrument's well laid out for that particular signature. And so something that works really well on guitar may or may not work really great on piano. You just never know. But in this case, I was able to pick out the melody of it first, right? Which is... So in this case, it was F, D, C, F, D, C, E flat. And if you look at what that's doing chord-wise, it's B flat. And it's essentially going B flat to E flat. Okay? But this, it's like a C minor chord. The bass doesn't change, it's just a B flat underneath. So this is either a C minor, which is C, E flat, G, right? It's either a C minor over a B flat, or it's an E flat 6. If it's an E flat 6, what that means is you have your E flat chord, E flat, G, B flat, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you add in the 6, which would be C. And so then it goes to an E flat chord. So you can usually figure out what the chords are to these that are the foundation of these signatures. And it just kind of worked well. And so when I found that signature line or that melody, I found I could harmonize it well in sixths, okay? The interval, sixth. So we're here, F and D are a major 6 apart, as are E flat and C, as are actually G and E flat are a minor 6 apart. And under here, I just could hear that what was going on is B flat, 5, 1, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes you have that. It's a nice kind of launching pad. Gives you a little emphasis on your tonic note or your root note. 5, 1. And it was just doing that. And so I put together this version. It's not an exact replica of what's going on the guitar, but it's awfully close and it works well. It lays out well for piano. So it works out nice because this particular riff is used a couple of different times in the song. So it's a nice way to start out. If you like, you don't have to do this. It would be fine to just play B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat. If you're not ready to play a signature like that, then that would be fine. LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. The average listener is not going to penalize you for not having those signatures down. But if you can, it's a nice way to enhance the song. They might recognize it before you even start singing. Okay, then what I heard was something that sounded like this. This is where I have to get a little bit creative because the person was kind of finger picking the guitar. Right? So I'm like, so somewhere between toggling and a little bit of arpeggiating and toggling. So it's B flat chord, then an E flat chord, back to B flat. So let me play this kind of really slow, and just keep in mind, I don't have a specific rhythm that I'm sticking to all the way through. It's just kind of, I'm just kind of feeling my way with a little bit of touch, but so we come out of this. And again, that is used like 3 different times potentially in this song. So that's another example of me kind of coming up with something that's a little bit signature. One other place where there's some kind of a signature line going on in this song that I put something together to work with is during the chorus where it says, I am, I said, and you can hear the horns come in and go, bum, 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 to no one there, bum, 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 bum. Okay? So I kind of picked out the top line melody. I am, I said. D, D, E flat, F, to no one there. G, G, A, B flat, and no one heard at all, not. And then it goes, even the chair, right? And if you just follow that down, the bass line goes E flat, D, C, B flat, right? So E flat, B flat over a D bass, and then like either an E flat over a C or a C minor 7. Don't have to do that, but even the chair, I am my cry. Okay, so then how do we harmonize that? A couple different ways you could do it. I like, if I'm playing it low here, I like to harmonize it with a third below. So like we're on a D, here's a B flat. To no one there. right? Very, very simple. I am myself to no one there, and no one heard it all, not even the chair. I am my cry. And now maybe I jump up an octave on that the second time through because I want to give it a little more punch. And so putting it in these higher frequencies will make it stick out a little bit more. And instead, possibly, you could do it here like that, but you could also then harmonize it in a sixth. Except when you get here, it's a B flat chord, so you don't want to harmonize it on this. So this is one where you'd have to like go sixth, 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 fifth. So B flat to F. That's up to you. The other thing you can do if you wanted to, if you're advanced enough, is you could keep the harmonizing to thirds, but you could then play octaves on that top line like this. So D, D, E flat, F like that. And see how that thickens it up a little bit more if you want to, and kind of put a little more of a spotlight on that signature. So, but it's all very strategic. You wouldn't have to jump an octave at all. It's just that for me, for the sophisticated players, you might want to think about something more subtle the first time through and something a little more in your face the second time through. I know more. Obvious. I am my cry. There we go. I am, said I, and I am lost, and I can't even say why. Now notice I kind of arpeggiated that attack. Leaving me lonely still. And then you've got your first signature again. And I've tried, but it won't let me go. I'm not a man who likes to swear. I never cared for the sound of being alone. I am, I said. Now notice, I play the signature. And then immediately get back to some kind of rhythmic something so that we don't lose the pace of the song. Toggle. No one there. And no one heard all nights, even the chair. And I am my cry. cried. I am, said I, and I am lost, and I can't even say why. Leaving me lonely still. So that is, those are just a lot of different thoughts. And I know this can be a lot of information, and I don't mean to overwhelm you. But with these master classes, what I want you to see is how at the very base level, you have something credible. LA is fine, the sun shines most of the time. That's base level. Palm trees grow and rents are low. But you start enhancing it just a little bit with first some harmonic stuff, like added nines and inversions. New York City, born and raised. Nowadays I'm lost between two shores. Okay, now we enhance it some more with some rhythmic stuff like toggles and whatnot. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York's home, but it ain't mine no more. And some arpeggios, and now we enhance it some more by being able to put a signature in there. I am, I said, and as you learn these different tools and tricks, they're just there for you, and you can try different things, and it keeps it fresh for you because you don't have to learn the song one way and then stick with it note for note that way for the rest of your life, which is really hard to do unless you're playing the song on the regular. You're going to forget. You're going to forget, but you don't have to learn it that way. You don't have to. You can just have those chords in front of you and have your bag of tricks, and you can play it essentially the same way. You can keep the essence alive over a long period of time. Anyone listening is not going to notice that you've made any major changes, but for you, there's always a little bit of discovery. It's always a little bit fresh. It's always an artistic experience because you're making choices with the tools that you've developed in the moment. And it makes it so fun, and you can go so much farther, so much faster than by reading notes on a staff. And the other thing is, you are not limited to what an arranger has written on a staff. And I'm not trying to trash reading notes. There's a time and a place where that is absolutely a magnificent skill, and it's the right skill for what you're trying to do. But if you want to be a person who plays piano to popular, or plays popular songs on piano while you're singing, or even if you want to play the melody, but you want a method that will allow you to use the same group of tools and play hundreds or thousands of different songs, then reading notes on a staff is not the way to go about it. There are too many things out of your control, but this is the fastest way to learn a song, and then every time you develop a new tool, you get better at this song and every other song that you play because that tool is now available to you across the board. So, okay, I think I have given you enough to work with in this video. I hope that I haven't made your head explode, but I get really, really excited by what can be done with this method. I've been using it since I was 12 years old. And I've developed different pieces and parts of it throughout the years. But it has just been the greatest joy of my life to be able to share music that I love with audiences really all over the world, between YouTube and the gigs that I've played in person all over North America. And I've had the pleasure of playing some gigs in Europe, and to reach audiences in every major continent through YouTube. And it's all because of this incredible method. And it has been mostly, I don't really care. The reach is fun, but what I've loved about it is how much joy I get personally out of being inside the song and having the music emanating from me, and so effectively being able to, recreate the song or approximate the song using this magnificent instrument. So thanks for going down this rabbit hole with me. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Please come check us out at pianomanapproach.com. I have a free song learning blueprint mini course there for you. All you got to do is tell me where to send it, and it'll show you a whole bunch of components of my method, and it goes into song demonstrations of many, many different songs. So anyway, I hope that you'll come take a look at that, and of course look at my course selection, as well as my private community, my mastermind community, where we do question and answer sessions a couple times a month, and have other like-minded piano players that talk to each other and help each other and learn this method and learn their favorite songs. So I have a lot going on over at pianomanapproach.com. I appreciate you very, very much for tuning into this, and I hope it's been enormously valuable to you. And at the very least, I hope it's changed your perception of what's possible and how you might be able to approach playing your favorite songs on piano. So I'll get out of here for now, but please remember, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong. I'm Piano Man Steve Lungrin, Piano Man Approach founder. Thank you so very much for joining us, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.